Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Purple Penny coin news video. My name's Mark. I own and run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We've been here for 5 years in May and been doing these videos for the last few years. Facebook's playing up today and not showing our post to anyone, so apologies if there's not much interaction today. I'm not expecting many people to be watching live today. Anyway, it's been a busy 7 days. We are back after our week break last week. We came back, opened up again on Wednesday. Had a very busy day on Wednesday. Lots of people dropping in who hadn't been able to come in for a little while, and then straight into a new Royal Australian Mint release on Thursday, and then a stealth announcement of a new Royal Australian Mint release for December on Thursday evening, which kept the phones busy on Friday. Not a lot of buying last week, but a lot of selling. We sold a lot of stuff, which was good. It was good to see all of our regulars coming in on Friday and Saturday to pick up their new release coins. We didn't have enough coins to be able to sell them over the counter or via our website, unfortunately, of the new releases. And that's becoming more and more common these days. Our allocations are getting smaller and smaller from the mint, and demand is getting stronger and stronger, unfortunately, so there's not a lot we can do about that. I'll just say a few hellos here. Hello Damien, Jason, Daryl, Ray and Angela. So it's a live Q&A session today, so if you've got any questions, please pop those questions into the comments. It could be interesting doing a live Q&A session when Facebook isn't showing the video to anyone, but we shall see. Hello Michael. Right, let's jump into the news. So of course we had a mint release last Thursday, the $100 mini gold emu, $135 proof Queen's commemoration coin, and $15 Queen's Unk commemoration coin. As I said, we only got a small allocation, so we didn't have enough to sell over the counter or on our website, but we did switch the phone off on Thursday. I got in a little bit late on Thursday and the phone had rung about 7 times in the first 5 minutes that I was here, so we did switch the phone off. It is very dispiriting for us to have to say no to everyone when they ring up, and it's interesting to see what things going for on secondary market. If you're new to coin collecting, secondary market is the second-hand market, I guess. It's selling coins on Facebook or eBay or Gumtree or however after they've been released. And I did check out this morning the sold prices on the Unk Queen commemoration coin, so keeping in mind this is a $15 release price. That was sold for they are selling today on eBay, and these are actually selling prices for $150 to $200. And the silver proof 50 cent, which had a release price of $135, is now selling for $375 to $425. So those are sold prices on eBay, auctions, buy it nows, things like that. Pretty remarkable. I guess in time those prices will settle back like they usually do. Whether they'll fall back to release price or not, I don't know. I won't be tracking those prices over the upcoming weeks because I won't have time, unfortunately. And that was it for the release, really. It all went fairly smoothly for us here. There's just a question here. Jason says, what do you think the reason is for dealers getting smaller and smaller allocations? Especially when the biggest mint channel is down. Well, I'd need to go and actually have a look at what the wholesale allocations are, Jason. Those of you who are new to getting products from the mint, they have a limited mintage, obviously, the coins, and they're distributed through different channels. And Catherine and I here at the Purple Penny, we're an authorised mint dealer, so we get access to some of the mint releases, and the authorised mint dealers get a portion of the mintage, and that's called the wholesale allocation, and the rest of it gets sold through either mint directly by the mint or through partners. For example, if you remember the FIFA coins, FIFA themselves actually got a large number of those coins to sell. And for me to be able to say why the mintages are dropping, I'd need to go and have a look at what those wholesale allocations are. I don't know if the wholesale allocations are dropping as well, Jason, but I can tell you that, in sort of percentage terms of the wholesale allocations, our allocations are dropping. We're getting less now than what we were when we started 4 years ago as authorised mint dealers, and I will just say that it's not just us, other dealers are telling us the same thing. So maybe there's more dealers in the network, maybe the mint's reducing wholesale allocations, maybe it's both. Hi Peter, hi Charles, hi Adam, hello Gwen, hello John. Thank you everyone for joining in. Right, next item on the news is there is a December RAM release, which would have been seen on the footer of the new release email that the Mint sent out last week to their retail customers. We got a small email regarding the release late on Friday, and this is all the details that we have. I understand that there's more information getting around on social media at the moment, but I don't know whether that's true or not. Just in terms of mintages and release prices, we don't have any official notification from the Mint, so I won't be sharing sort of the unofficial stuff that's getting around. So there's a 2024 $5 1 ounce fine silver high relief coin, it's Koala series, and the 2023 $2 uncirculated 14 coin collection, 35th anniversary of the $2 coin. Obviously the second one there is the one that is going to be of interest to people. We're not taking names, we're not recording interest for this set, and we don't know what's going on with it. We don't know what the release price is, we don't know what the mintage is, we don't know how many we're getting, we don't know if we're going to be selling them over the counter, we don't know if we're going to be selling them on our website, we don't know anything, so please don't ask. We will make our minds up when we know what's going on. Obviously, if you appear out of nowhere, if we haven't seen you for 6 months and you ask for one of these folders and we've got a limited number, then the chances of you getting one off of us are zero. We have a business here and we have regulars who come in here every week and support us every week and have done for 4 or 5 years, and if there is a very limited number of these folders available, then obviously we'll look after our regulars first, so just keep that in mind. Alright, Peter, there's no harm in asking, mate. There is absolutely no harm in asking. Hello Ivan, and hello Peter, other Peter, not Peter Andrews. Now that's it for the release. We don't know what else is going on, so I've got nothing else to share about that. Last week I talked about a Chinese provincial coin, the province of Guangdong, being sold in a nobles auction, and it realised almost 3 times the estimate in the auction. I'll just pop up a picture of that here. There it is there. So it's effectively a 50-cent coin, half the size of a silver dollar size coin, but the actual local currency is 3 mace and 6.5 kandareens. They were minted at the Heaton Mint, and they were designed to replace foreign coins that were trading in this province at the time. And the Heaton Mint actually minted them oversized, so they're a little bit heavier than the coins they were intended to replace. So as a consequence, they were mostly withdrawn and melted, and a very small number actually were released. And this 50 cent here was expected to realise around about 60,000 Australian dollars, and it ended up realising $205,000 plus commission, and I believe the commission at Nobles is 22% or thereabouts, so add another 40 grand on top of that price. Quite a remarkable price there. Now, I will just remind everyone that's watching, it's a live Q&A session today, so please feel free to pop your questions in the comments and I'll get onto it when we get up to that part of the auction, of the video, sorry. Sorry, I got auctions on my brain. The Royal Mint in England has been conducting their own auctions since 2021, and this has been an opportunity to get hold of very low mintage items and also some unreleased proofs and patterns. And they've got, I think, their third auction on the go at the moment, and it finishes on December the 3rd. You can bid directly on the Royal Mint website. Be interesting to see if the Royal Australian Mint actually did something like this. Of course, they did have a large auction several years ago where they released things out of their archives at auction. And Peter Andrews, if you're still here, perhaps you could tell us who that auction house was that auctioned the Royal Australian Mint coins a few years ago. Anyway, the Royal Mint in England is conducting an auction at the moment, and this seemed like an interesting coin. It's a 2021 Queen's Beast Gold Proof coin. What's remarkable about it is that it weighs a kilo and it's gold, and the mintage of it was just 17 pieces. This one's been graded by NGC as PF70UC. That means Proof 70 Ultra Cameo, and Ultra Cameo is a way of describing the reflectivity of the coin itself. Estimate of the coin is 80,000 to 90,000 pounds. Opening bid just 69,000 pounds. If you happen to have 69,000 pounds laying around, I think that would be about 110,000 Australian dollars, something like that, 105 to 110,000 dollars. Someone there who's watching wants to tell me how many Australian dollars 69,000 pounds is, then I'd love to see it in the comments. So Peter thanks Peter for answering, that's much appreciated. Peter's just answered my question about the Royal Australian Mints auction from several years ago. It was called the Mint Master Collection, and it was auctioned through Downies. Downies being a coin dealer in Melbourne who run regular auctions. So if you want to go and have a look at the Royal Mint auction on their website, there's some interesting pieces there. Peter says 69,000 pounds is about $130,000. Wow. Yeah, I won't be placing the opening bid on that one. A journalist picked up a story off of Reddit this week. Reddit being a social media platform about replacing damaged banknotes, and I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this before, but if you come across a damaged banknote, you can actually send it back to the Reserve Bank and get some or all of the value back. So there we've got a picture of a ripped $10 note. And last financial year, the Reserve Bank had 8,900 claims for damaged banknotes, and they paid out about $14.3 million in refunds for damaged banknotes. And basically the rule is, if it's 80% or more of the banknote, you get the full value back. If it's 20% or less, you don't get any of the value back. And if it's between 20% and 80%, you get that proportion back. So what does that mean? It means that if you've got half of the $10 note, then you get $5 back. If you've got a quarter of the $10 note, you get $2.50. How do you submit your $2 note, your note to the RBA? You go to their website. There's a claim form available on their website that you can fill in, and you can mail it in to them. There are some provisos to that though. You can't send in notes that you found in the bin or in landfill, and you're not allowed to make a habit of buying damaged banknotes to send them back to the RBA. Interestingly enough, it's not allowed to be a commercial exercise. Interesting story there. Right, before we jump on to the questions that people have asked, there's just a comment here from Jason. Jason saying, there seems to be a bit of a slowdown in the coin market currently. In your experience, would you attribute it to the economy, lack of interesting releases, people getting out of collecting, or just a cycle? Jason, we find it to be quite cyclic, and the down periods seem to increase with the amount of time since the last $2 release. And it's been a while since there's been a $2 release, and I suspect that the level of activity will pick up by December the 7th, which is the next $2 folder. If someone's got some spare time, it would be interesting to plot a graph of how the $2, the 2018 30th anniversary $2 folders prices change in the next month. Because I suspect that there'll be a slow ramp up in the prices of those, and then a big ramp up after the release on December the 7th, because people either A, need one to go with their 35th anniversary set, or B, people are looking for one because they couldn't get their hands on a 35th anniversary set. It is very, very psychological. But that being said, it's certainly economic as well. We can clearly remember during COVID, when people were getting allowances for work from home and things like that, that people would come in here and spend those allowances, and you could tell that's what they were spending, because they'd spend up to their budget and then they'd disappear, and then as soon as those payments were knocked on the head, they stopped coming in. So certainly there is a degree of economic stuff about it. So I see someone's mentioned cost of living crisis. We get a lot of money boxes and stuff coming in when times get hard. People are looking to, I guess, realise any cash they've got laying around the house, and often that is the money boxes, and people bring in their money boxes hoping that there's something in there that's worth more than just the face value. And we also get people perhaps who've inherited something and they've been sitting on it for a while, and they want to realise the value of that when things get a little bit tough, mortgage rates and all that sort of thing. So there's no doubt that we do see economic things as well, but certainly the psychological fear of missing out around $2 releases is very, very noticeable, very noticeable. So Peter Andrews, thank you, Peter. I'd be absolutely stoked to see the shape of the graph of how the price of the 2018 30th anniversary $2 folder changes in the next several weeks, and just to see if there's any correlation between the 35th folder release and that. Right, so I've just answered a question there. Damien says people will want to have both, so if you have a 2018 set and want to sell it, hold on to it for a bit longer. Might be sage advice there, Damien. That could be sage advice. But I never said that. Now, there was one last bit of news which I have forgotten to talk about. Greg McDonald, who you may or may not have heard of. If you haven't been around coins for the last 6 years, or at least the last 6 years, you might not know who Greg is. Greg is a prolific numismatic author, and back in 2017, I think, was the last edition of his catalogue. For a long time, Greg published a coin and banknote catalogue that competed directly with the Renix coin and banknote catalogue. It was a different form factor book, and he published that for many years. And then, I'm not sure why, but he did stop publishing that book. Well, Greg has reappeared again with a PNC catalogue, quite a thick book. Here it is here. You can see it's a tall book, narrow pages, tall book. This book has been released just in the last week or two. Release price is $49.95, and it is without doubt the most comprehensive guide on postal numismatic covers ever produced. I don't know if it's accurate. I haven't really had a look through it, but there is a metric buttload of information in there, along with values and things like that, and an explanation of how those prices were arrived at. And if you are not a hardcore PNC collector, you'd be surprised at how many special editions and show releases, and I've forgotten what the special post releases are for PNCs. There's been a lot of stuff released that a lot of people don't know about. As far as I know, it's the first dedicated book about PNCs released in Australia, and we're not going to stock it, but I will just give a quick shout out to Matthew Rigby, who's the owner of Sandy Bay Stamps, and I only know Matthew because he's the admin of a stamp group on Facebook that I'm a member of, and he seems like a pretty good guy, and certainly knows his stuff. So Matthew Rigby of Sandy Bay Stamps is stocking the book. If you Google Sandy Bay Stamps, you'll come up with his website, and you can send him a contact form message if you want to get hold of one of these books, because I know that he is stocking them. Right. Let's jump into some questions. First question, this was from Gary and Monica. Will the Rams sell via their website again? Yes. Do I have any more information than that? No. Do I know when they're going to do it? No, I've got no idea. But yeah, I've got no doubt that they will definitely sell via their website again. I'm sorry, Gary and Monica, if that wasn't the answer you're looking for, but I'm sure that they will be selling via their website again. Someone asked, quite humorously, how many phone calls do we think the Purple Penny will get on December the 7th? Well, as I've said already, I was in for 5 minutes on Thursday morning, and the phone had already rung 9 or 10 times before I switched it off. And we had it switched off all day. When I switched it back on Friday morning, the phone was complaining that Message Bank was full and it couldn't record any more messages. I think that you could easily multiply those number of messages on December 7th by 30 or 40. The phone will catch fire. I know on Friday morning, the day after release day, we probably had 30 or 40 phone calls about the release from the day before. The $2 folder is only going to be worse. So thank you for the mischief maker who asked that particular question. Now, Miriana asked about how to get started in ancient coin collecting. And before I get started on this, Jared, who is our employee, he's in today. He's been coming in on Mondays and Tuesdays for a few weeks. Jared's leaving us on Saturday. He's going on a trip to Europe for a few months. So he won't be around for the next few months. So I would just like to thank Jared, who has been coming in here every week for the last year, and wish him best of luck on his trip. Catherine and I will miss him, and looking forward to him coming back as soon as possible so that we're not stuck in here by ourselves all the time. Right, now the reason I mentioned Jared is because he helped me with this. Miriana asked about how to get started with collecting Roman coins, so Jared wrote out some points for me. That's not the right slide. There we go. Jared wrote some points out for me, and I have expanded on that or adjusted them. So how do you get started on Roman coins? Now, Roman coins are a really wide area of collecting, and until you get into Roman coins, you won't understand how wide an area of collecting it is. It's certainly much more vast than collecting Australian coins. And because of that, there are huge opportunities to specialise in collecting Roman coins. And Jared's first point here I thought was a great one. You know, how do you get started? Before I bought a Roman coin, I wanted to know the history behind, some aspect of the coin. So the very first Roman coin I ever bought, for example, was counterstamped GERM for Germanicus, who was a Roman general who you may or may not know. Died in the Teutoburg forest in Germany. He was massacred along with all of his soldiers by some Germans. And so the very first Roman coin I ever bought was one of those, and I only ever bought it because I read a book about it. So, what Jared is saying here is to involve yourself in the stories. If you really want to be interested in the coins that you're buying, understand the story behind it. So a well-known way of collecting Roman coins is the so-called 12 Caesars, and that's 12 different men who ruled Rome, and getting one coin of each emperor. And the only reason that has come about is because there was a history, a series of biographies released by the same authors, same author I should say, and these date to 200 or 300 AD I believe, and there was 12 biographies of 12 Roman emperors, and as such some people just collect the coins of those 12 emperors. Perhaps you've been to England and seen Hadrian's Wall, and you might want a coin of Hadrian. Perhaps you've seen Gladiator, and the main protagonist in Gladiator was the Emperor Commodus. You might want a coin of Commodus. So, involve yourself in the stories, and then the coins themselves mean more. Once you've involved yourselves in the stories, you can choose a period that interests you. And, in Roman coins were minted from I believe about 200 BC and through to about six. Well, if you count the Byzantine era, to 1200 AD or 1100 AD. So that's a period of 1500 years that Roman coins were minted for. Obviously, that's too wide a range for any one person without unlimited resources to get involved in. So you might want to pick a period that interests you. Maybe it's Roman Republican, maybe it's around the time, biblical times, perhaps 0 AD through to 40 AD, that sort of area. Perhaps you're just interested in provincial coins, because it wasn't just coins minted in Rome, they minted them in all the provinces as well. Remember, the Roman Empire spread all the way from northern parts of England to eastern Iraq and down through Egypt. It was a very wide area. Understand what makes a good coin. The quality of a coin, an ancient coin, is quite different to the quality of a modern coin. So you need to understand things such as centering, flan cracks, good metal, planchet size, all that sort of stuff. So, for example, a well-centered Roman coin without flan cracks that shows all detail, because of course these coins aren't perfectly struck, is going to be much more sought after than something that's struck off centre, or perhaps something with an extremely worn die, or something that the silver or bronze is of poor quality. So understanding what makes a good ancient coin is quite different to understanding what makes a good modern coin. Decide on a storage solution. If you're going to start collecting Roman coins, then come in here and buy a packet of polypropylene pages and an album and a packet of safe flips, and that's going to cost you about $57 or so, and you've got a PVC free storage solution for 50 coins, and that way when you put your 2,000-year-old coin away and don't look at it for 5 years, it's going to come out looking the same way as it did when it went in. I couldn't think of anything worse than buying a coin that's 2,000 years old and putting it into PVC and ruining it. It's made its way down through history to you. It's up to you to look after that coin. Decide on safe coin sources. And what do I mean by that? I mean, decide where you're going to buy these things from. So that means reputable coin dealers, and today I'd probably call us a reputable coin dealer. Maybe some people don't, but I think we are. There's also reputable online sources such as VCoins, CNG auctions. Who else? There's Romanorum coins. There's Walter Holt, who I believe owns Romanorum coins. There's Colonial Coins up in Queensland, who seem to know ancients fairly well. There's Alex Pallant, who has just opened a coin business in Melbourne. He's quite a reputable dealer. I wouldn't go buying ancient coins at auction or off of eBay unless you really know what you're doing. I should also mention Civitas coins in the USA, Harlan J. Burt coins in the USA. So all of these places sell genuine coins, and most of them have a money-back guarantee if you're worried about things. So, do identify safe places to buy ancient coins from. Like all types of coin collecting, we always recommend that you start slow, so don't sort of dive in and buy 1,000 coins. Buy the first coin using the criteria that you decide to set yourself, and buy the best coin that you can and see if you enjoy that coin. Number 7 is something that I enjoy the most about ancient coins, is to fully attribute each coin using appropriate resources. Now, what does fully attribute mean? It means identifying who issued the coin, the size of it, what it's made from, and then correctly describing the obverse and reverse design. And there are lots of resources online for this sort of thing. Wild Winds, VCoin, CNG, etc., etc. Now, I still do this for every coin that I buy, regardless of where it's come from. And why is that? Because sometimes people get it wrong. I bought a Roman coin from a dealer in Sydney a couple of months ago, and when I got it back here, I looked at the attribution. I thought, let's look it up anyway. Turns out the attribution was wrong, and it was a contemporary counterfeit. which to me makes it much more interesting than the actual low value sort of Roman coin that I thought it was. And then the last item here is to start learning about fakes, and that's a much more complicated thing to do. The first thing is to buy from reputable sources before you start worrying about fakes. And then when you're ready to dip your toes into the wild west of eBay, then you really do want to understand what makes a fake coin and what doesn't. So thank you to Jared for helping me with that, and I hope, Mariana, that helps you out a little bit in getting started with ancient coins. Right, questions here. Hello, Antonius. Hello, Glenn. Hello, Angela and Greg and Ash. Justin was saying, sorry, just scrolled away. I was wondering what are the best sort of places to purchase error coins on apart from your shop. Well, we deal in errors fairly heavily, and if you're not going to buy them from us, then you can source them at auction if you know what you're doing. You can occasionally pick them up off of eBay if you know what you're doing. There is an error coin trading group on Facebook which occasionally has some good stuff up on there, but there really isn't anyone in Australia who deals in as many errors as what we do, and that's not big noting ourselves. We just deal in a lot of errors, and there's not really anyone else who has as many as what we do. Now, there was a big question here from Patrick. I've bought capsules to store some coins and it came with foam inserts. Is the foam inserts good to use or will it damage the coins? I will just try to put aside my anti-capsule bias here. I don't like capsules. I don't like them. I find them hard to store and hard to look at, and they all just end up in a lunchbox. So I'll just put aside that. If you buy capsules from a reputable maker such as Lighthouse, then if they come with foam inserts, they're probably going to be okay. The problem with them is that they're usually not branded, and if you buy sort of capsules second hand off of eBay, you're not really sure what you're getting. And I have seen capsules with foam inserts that have damaged the coins that are in them because the foam is not stable. So, Patrick, the answer to your question is it might be okay, it might not. Right, Peter says, I don't know enough about PNCs to know how accurate the book is. Peter, I do know that, and just let me look in the book here. One of our regulars that comes in here, she is a very big PNC collector, and I really strongly respect her opinions on PNCs because she knows far more about them than what Catherine and I do. And she said that Greg really did get a lot of help from a gentleman by the name of Steve Ross. And Steve is the admin of the biggest PNC collector forum on Facebook, and Steve also has a huge PNC collection. So just judging by what our customer said in here, Steve really does know his stuff. And if if Greg has taken Steve's information on board, then I'm sure the information in the book is good. Right, I think that's it. Was there any questions here? Oh, hello, Mike. Hello, Glenn. I don't think there was any question. Anyone else got any more questions? Because if not, I will wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, for taking part today. And thank you again to the people that have asked questions. Oh, sorry, excuse me for 1 second. Antonia says, how about capsules which come together from the Ram or Perth Mint? Look, Antonius, I'd love to say that they'll be fine, but there's no doubt that the Royal Australian Mint and the Perth Mint at times during their history have released products in packaging that was not safe for the coins that they were holding. I would address those questions directly to the mints and find out what the packaging is made from. But the real problem is that they change it all the time. They just change it all the time. It's, the Queen's commemoration coin that was released last week came in a little credit card size card, and just every time these things release, it seems to be different than the time before. So I would hope that the capsules, that the coins from the Royal Australian Mint and Perth Mint are safe. But as I've said, in the past they've released things that aren't safe. So I don't know. I just don't know. Right. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Oh no, Damien says, sometimes fake coins come in capsules to make it harder to determine if they are fakes. Yes, that's right, Damien. So if you bring in 1 ounce coins here and they're in capsules, we will generally open up the capsule and test if it's magnetic, and shoot it with our XRF and see if it's silver. So, and as always, Damien, if one coin in a group of coins is fake, then you may as well assume that all the coins in the group of coins are fake, because that generally is how it rolls. Right, that's it. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for everyone's support here in the shop in the last several years. Catherine and I really appreciate it. We couldn't do this without our regulars that come in here and put a smile on our face. And also for you people that watch these videos and take part in the videos, I wouldn't do it if you weren't here either. I do wish you best of luck with the releases that are coming up, and just remember, it is just a hobby. If you don't get what you want, don't worry about it. There's plenty of other stuff to collect. And just remember that smile, it's supposed to be fun. That's it for now. Thank you everyone. Happy collecting, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.